Hey guys, let's check out Sunshine Glade here. So the first thing you'll notice is that it's not on the practice round here. So if I go quickly to practice, oh, yeah, you won't find it on the practice round. See, look, no Sunshine Glade. So hole 1, 61 meters. The normal play, once you've got discs in your bag and you've been playing for a little while, is always to run this basket. And that's the same with all the Sunshine Glade par 3s. I'm always running them. And the thing is, even if you miss long, like I'm purposely missing long here, this comebacker is pretty standard for most people who have been playing for a while. Like, I made that no problem. If you do want to lay up, which I don't recommend, you can do that with the harp on a forehand. That'll get there. Probably use that in a headwind if you're trying to lay up. Or you can go the keystone on a backhand. That works for me. Pure can actually reach there, by the way. And also the Hope can reach it too. So those are some potential ace run opportunities. But I go forehand. I've learned how to throw in with my Fuse, Warship, Keystone, especially those three, on a forehand. And it's really elevated my game. There's a couple other ones like Instinct, but so the aiming point is, I can't exactly explain it because you have to factor in the wind. But as far as wind goes, tailwinds will hyzer out your throws early, and they won't give you as much turn. If you're aiming straight at a basket with no elevation or slightly above it. If you're aiming below, tailwinds will still do that, but they're gonna do some other things too. And so here we got a tailwind, and I need to aim slightly lower because it's going to carry farther. And if I aim too high, like if I go for this high, like I might hit band here. So let me try to hit the band here, so get an idea of what's going on. See, that was pretty high. That wasn't really going to go in. That was probably going to hit the band. But we got the same wind, it looks like. So if I aim lower, like here, that has a good chance because it was the right height. So I had the right height on that, even though I didn't quite hit my line. So, yeah, forehand, and you can aim from anywhere from like here, like in this area, I would say. Sometimes you can even go directly on it if you have a heavy left to right, and maybe just put a little bit of hyzer on it. I sometimes will put a touch of hyzer on my throw just to keep the disc going at the basket for longer. So it gives you more margin for error. Like this here, you see, so it's actually traveling towards the basket for most of its flight, which is really, really nice once you get that line dialed. Especially in this wind, if you play no hyzer, which is fine, then it can turn like crazy. So I actually got lucky that time, but it can you see how much that turned? I have to be more careful on my left to right on the basket. Okay, hole 2. If you're gonna lay up, there's a few ways you can do that. I was meant to be a forehand, but anyways, the Instinct on a forehand. Rethrow that. I'm not gonna put it next to the basket because I don't want to tap it in. So yeah, you wouldn't go through these trees. You would go like in the open, obviously. You can do backhand harp even. I'm gonna just aim to the left here again. Just make sure I don't. Again, that was totally fine. You can even go backhand Fuse or forehand Fuse. And they all have similar distances. If you want to get slightly more distance because it's farther, you can up your disc. But the normal ace run, there's two ace runs. So there's a tailwind ace run, and then there's the musket ace run, which is like I honestly go musket ace run pretty much for everything and just adjust my aim point. So on this wind, I know it's almost direct at the basket, slightly lower, and maybe slightly left. So like right there, that's pretty darn good. This is like a right to left wind that's slight head. But here we'll go here and lower to get more turn, and then straight pull. Yeah, so that was pretty darn close. And so, yeah. And then so let's maybe try to make this here. So that went left there. I think that was just my pullback not being straight. But anyway, if you have a left to right wind, I tend to aim like by this bush even sometimes, and it will turn and then come back right at the basket. But any right to left wind, a 3 wind, you go about here, honestly, and you gotta go like this, and then it comes back to the basket. But yeah, anywhere in here, basically, adjust your height accordingly. This will hit band. If I were to go like this, it would hit band or go over, just because of well, that was chain height actually, so maybe not. Anyways, so the other run is the Instinct, which is the same as the Explorer. It's just a different name for the disc. It's one of the, you have to pay for this disc. And you just do it on the backhand. Excuse me. So you aim pretty much directly at the basket. You have the bottom chevron right there on that aiming sign. And then you give this about a disc and a quarter of anhyzer, maybe even slightly more. And it'll go to the right and come back to the basket. And this works in tailwinds, like as you can see here, I just got it. But any headwind, it will not reach. And you will be left with a short, it'll hit, I've had so many times where it hits cage and doesn't go in if you don't get it just right. That was the right wind for it. So then we have hole 3. I'm going to try to just not quite make this because otherwise I have to restart and get to this point. But the forehand line, you can either get right here, which is fine, or I pull out left, and it's the same aim point anyways, so the same elevation and all that stuff. And then if there's no wind, you're going about here with your bottom chevron, just kind of right of the aiming sign. I'm going to just do this so I can, I know it's going to go left of the basket here, but, and it's a forehand, and then a straight pull. And then it kind of comes back at the end of its flight. This one's really good in a gentle left to right wind, because the disc is on like a laser beam the whole way to the basket almost. And then the other option, which is fairly common, is if you go to your default aim, you go backhand, aiming on these flowers is really nice. So because this is a right to left wind, I'm going to aim about the right side of the flowers. And that should be pretty darn close. And we got it. Okay. Hole 3. Hole 3 is another one where you can do different things depending on the wind. You will not reach it on the backhand fuse, so I'm going to go just right of it here. But I don't even know if a 3 tailwind will get you to the basket. It might be close. There may be a chance. But yeah, it looks like it will, but you land just short. In the tailwind, the speed will get there. And I think also the claymore potentially, but usually you will not get there. So the better option is to use more disc. And then you want to avoid these trees on the right side. And so by doing that, you want to run something that's going to fade to the left, or run something that's going to go to the left at the end of its flight. So I go Warship, and then if you have like a right to left like this, the aim point is about here with the top chevron. Just, you see the base of this tree here, on the if you look at my top chevron, just to the left here. That's about where you go. If you have a really strong right to left, you maybe go here and high. But we're going to go here. And this should fade right back to the basket on a straight pullback. Right back to the basket. Okay, and we got it. Sometimes, like in any left to right wind, if it's like a 2 left to right, then you'll actually need to put that right on the basket almost. And you won't need to do any anhyzer or anything like that. And then lastly, we got hole 5, which is the last hole. Here's my more normal play. It's the captain. So you look at this bottom chevron where the leaves meet the trunk of that tree. And then I go about anywhere from a half disc to a full disc of anhyzer. I accidentally let go of my thumb there, but it'll still be fine. Picnic table probably, yeah. That's a pretty poor throw because I accidentally released it. Let me just rethrow that. So anywhere from half a disc to a full disc. In this wind, since it's going to turn my disc slightly, I'm going to go like maybe just a hair above half a disc. So let the wobble go to the right, and that's just like, that's perfect the whole way. And that's the light glide captain. Now if you don't bag that, the turn glide rive works really well, and that's if you just want the eagle. If you're going for the ace run, which can be done, I have done it, you need to aim lower, and you need to hang out on the right side here and then come back. It's a pretty tricky line. Let's see if I can't match this. That's not the throw for it, so we'll have to try that one more time here. I'm not going to try too much for this because it's a tough one to get. Sometimes you can pull it this way. Yeah, so that's going to be too far right now. Weird bounce off the hill there. Let's give it one more go, and then that's it. That's tracking better than the others, but still too far right. And so you'd rather be right. Now, obviously, don't give yourself a risk of going in this creek, but you'd rather be right. And then another thing, I'm not actually hooked behind this tree or anything, but I just want to show you, is learn to do these low shots if you're trying to throw through a bush. These low, like, penetrating shots like this here, and it can really help your game. That was actually pretty low. I didn't need to go that low, but anyway, that's Sunshine Glade. And so the one thing I'll say about that is this is a course where if I'm playing, and I'm like 850 ranked right now, so I'm top 50, 60, and this is a course that once you get up higher in the ranks, you'll find that if you're playing on a card with 3 other people, so it's a full card, you'll find that at least two of the people are getting at least 1 ace. I've gotten 2 aces. I've seen people get 2, 3 in a row. 3 is less common, especially if you have that longer par 3 with the musket throw-in, right? But generally speaking, you can expect 1 or 2 people making an ace. If no one makes an ace, then if you make an ace, you're probably, like, if you make an ace on this, you might not be gaining strokes. I mean, obviously you're getting a lower score, so you're going to be gaining strokes that way, but you might need to get 1 or 2 to really solidify. You might need to get 2 to solidify a win sometimes. I've had some moments where it's back and forth. You're trading aces on this. So that being said, it can be really annoying because there's a lot of element of chance with the disc wobble and the aiming wobble, and discs don't always fly the way you put it on line, even if it's the same line every time. There's like a margin for error that this game allows for with the randomness of it. And so this course can be frustrating once you play at a high level, because it's really just down to whether or not because everyone's got their lines dialed on these holes. It's whether or not the disc actually goes in. And so that being said, I really like it because it adds some scoring separation and some potential ways to get strokes on your card. And so I'm not sad when I see this unless I'm trying to hold a lead. So anyway, that's Sunshine Glade. I hope you learned something from this video and that it means something to you.